closing stages of race 2 of 3 here at Pukekohe, and what a contrast in weather conditions to the first one, guys.
It's amazing how quick it changes here, isn't it? Quite incredible.
Just goes to show what a great equaliser the rain is too. You know, Jason Richards, Team Kiwi, did a brilliant job in those wet conditions to leapfrog their way up the field. Now we're in dry, hard running. You can see that they are struggling for pace a little bit further down the order now. 23rd and 24th, the two Team Kiwi cars running bumper to bumper.
It's obviously someone that's a little bit stage fright.
That's Monique, Greg Murphy's partner. Big case of stage fright.
Yeah,
she's impressed with what her man's doing, and it's been a very, very impressive run from Greg Murphy.
He's happier than he's been in a long time, Greg Murphy. So happy to be back within the TWR fold, and why wouldn't he? This car, this team working brilliantly. Rob Crawford, Eric Pender, his data acquisition man. There's obviously a very good synergy going on within that team, because this Kmart racing operation, very potent, and really the only ones able to consistently match the Holden racing team in terms of their performance from track to track.
Well, quite often you see too with professional athletes, Mark, and whatever, things that happen away from the track or away from the sporting field in their personal life. And Greg's very happy that he and Monique just had their first child, Ronan, several months ago. He's a very, very proud and happy father, and is enjoying life as a parent.
Well, Ned will tell you as a racer, I mean, there's so much of it in your head. You come to a racetrack you happen to like, you like the place, like the people there, and it just makes a massive difference, doesn't it? It's just hard to explain.
Yeah, sometimes it just helps you get in that perfect rhythm. There are days when you ride a motorcycle or race a car, as we go on board with Marcus Ambrose, where it all just seems to fit, and there are other days where you just can't get the bits to all line up. One interesting move is that Jason Bright has moved up to 6th now, ahead of Tony Longhurst. They're all chasing this man, Marcus Ambrose 3rd, and Scaife, I think now 0.8 behind last time through, just can't quite dig in any further, and I think we've probably got game, set, match there.
Well, he's fighting a lone hand here, Ambrose. He's 4.6 seconds behind Scaife in second, but there's Commodores all around him. Murphy and Scaife leading the race. Russell Ingall, Jason Bright, Tony Longhurst behind him. The next best place forward is Stephen Johnson in the Shell car. He's back in 7th.
You can see there that that's what 3 seconds looks like. He's got a nice buffer over Russell Ingall, and then back to Jason Bright. Simon Wills is a long way down the order after an impressive run. I think Russell Ingall might be in problems here. He's slowing right down, because he was not.
Yeah, just listen.
He's cruising.
I wonder if he's got that gearbox.
Jamming gear again, jamming gear.
That problem, that persistent problem.
Can you believe that? It happened in the top 10 shootout, and now it struck him again, and you heard it from the man himself.
And it happened again a couple of years ago, didn't it? We did it twice in a row.
Gearbox jammed. There's the Castrol team.
That's not good for him championship-wise, because Bright's the guy that's chasing him in the championship.
Well, Brighty wants a 1-2 for the Holden racing team, which is something they've never been able to achieve. And Russell is absolutely livid, as you'd imagine. Look at him trying to wrestle that gear stick around to try and pick up another gear, but it's no good.
From one man who's experiencing problems to someone who's had no problems. It's been an amazing run at Pukekohe this weekend. Skates right on him again, though. He's turned up the heat. He's taken 0.4 of a second or more in that last lap, and it's not over yet. 4 laps to go.
4 laps to run, still enough.
This is probably just showing that experience that Scaife has, Neil. He's probably just hung back for a few laps to let the tyres resuscitate and have one last lunge when the laps are running out.
Well, that's another possibility. You may have just decided that it was the wrong time to push.
The Lowndes transponder is working suddenly. He's in 11th position, so we weren't far off. And he should move into 10th, because Russell Ingall is slowly falling down that order.
I don't think the Scaife challenge is over yet, folks. Looked like he settled back into a comfortable rhythm there. But now he's looks like one last assault. He's launching on the local hero. Squeezes down the inside of John Faulkner through turn 6, flings it right through turn 7.
That cost him time then.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
Cost him a lot.
So time running out for Mark Scaife.
Went back out to 0.9.
4 laps remaining for a race leader, Greg Murphy, and he is in absolutely scintillating form this weekend, as he was here in 1996 with the Holden racing team. Scaife now, you can see he got so close to Murphy there, but now he's lost a lot of time. You can see Ingall limping around, still in trouble with that Castrol car, just trying to pick as many points as he can, no doubt.
Shell Helix race score updating those positions at the bottom of your screen. And when you think back to 96, and Neil, you were here, part of that, as they call it, the Dirty Dozen, the 12 cars that came over. That really launched Greg Murphy's V8 Supercar career. The next Last year he had the full-time drive in HRT when Lowndes went to Europe.
That's right, and he also put on a great show down in Wellington as well, so he's managing to repeat history here.
The word from the Castrol Perkins racing team to Russell Ingall is hang out there, try and do as many laps as you can, salvage some points, as you mentioned in this battle with Jason Bright for second.
Well, the worst he can finish is 30th, and he'll still pick up 6 points. 6 points is better than no points.
3 points remaining. 3 points. 3 laps remaining for our race leader, Greg Murphy. Russell Ingall.
I'll bet Russell's had a humour bypass right about.
Oh, I bet he has.
How frustrating. I mean, having that happen twice in the one race meeting at critical times.
There's something weird going on there because it's the gearbox is one of the most reliable components on these cars.
But he has had that before, the same thing, exactly the same thing yesterday, and I think it was last year or the year before.
And he's just crawling around this 2.8-kilometre Pukekohe circuit. They're telling him how many laps to go. Longhurst flashes by, currently 5th. That's an outstanding effort for the Rod Nash racing team.
Look at how hard these two are pushing. Gee, these cars are getting driven to their absolute limit. Lap after lap after lap. Not only on their own, they've got to find their way through traffic.
He's coming up against Todd Kelly's just in front there, so maybe...
This is a great pressure motor race between two top racers.
Yeah.
I mean, not only is... you know, they're a great battle between these two guys. There's traffic to deal with. There have been slightly different pit and tyre strategies. A very interesting motor race, and there's only 0.6 of a second after 34 laps of racing. That's pretty special.
We're inside 2 laps from home, and there is Jason Bright, who's surging on. It's been a very good run from him. He's up to 4th now after starting a little further back.
So Murphy, Scaife, Ambrose now 5.6 seconds behind that leading pair. Jason Bright, we're watching now, he's 4th. Tony Longhurst still an excellent 5th. Can't say enough about the Rod Nash team to get him up that high. Stephen Johnson, Garth Tander, Paul Radicic, Stephen Ellery, and Craig Lowndes now is in the top 10.
Coming round to get that last lap indicator. And Greg Murphy will have just 2.8 kilometres to run before he gets one step closer to the clean sweep here at Pukekohe. Can he hang on, or can Scaife bridge that gap and get past Murphy?
Some lap traffic coming up here, less than 2.8 kilometres remaining. Now he's got his teammate Todd Kelly in front as they come under brakes into turns 2, 3, 4, onto the final straight for the final time out of the Boost Mobile corner. So Murphy looks like he's got Scaife well and truly covered as they come up the straight for the final time. Interesting gamble by the Holden racing team, and certainly at one stage there 10 laps ago it looked like it was going to pay off, but Murphy has been able to answer the challenge.
If they were fighting anybody but themselves, it probably would have worked.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Todd Kelly, 1 Kmart Commodore, the 2nd there, and there's a big difference in where they are on the track in terms of placings. Greg Murphy is bringing it home. The final lap, it's been quickest in qualifying, pole position after the
Listen to the crowd.
Race 1 victory, race 2 victory. Greg Murphy has done it again on home soil. The Kiwi brings the crowd to its feet. Stunning stuff from Murphy. Scaife 2nd, and Marcus Ambrose, the top place Ford in 3rd. But the weekend is going to plan. Greg Murphy can do no wrong.
This is a fairy tale weekend for the Murph. 29 years of age, Kiwi in front of his home crowd, and they absolutely love it. There's Rob Crawford, Kmart team manager, and they're doing a great job this weekend, everyone in this team.
And we looked down the order, and it was a stunning drive by another Holden man, Jason Bright, from 20th on the grid to 4th. That is something special. Lowndes, who was way back in 24th, made up 14 positions to finish 10th, and Seaton halved his starting position from 30th to 14th. So there were some pretty big movers in race 2, but that's your man, the main man this weekend at Pukekohe, Greg Murphy.
Guys, I can tell you that win for Greg Murphy didn't come without some dramas. About 6 laps from home, he inadvertently hit the pit speed limiter button, and that allowed Scaife to close the gap.
Well, we thought it might have been the tyre life making a big factor there, but apparently Murph a bit keen to head into the pits.
I reckon they'll change that for the 3rd race. Relocate that switch.
It'd take you maybe a little bit, if he didn't actually notice that he'd hit it, it'd take you a little millisecond to think, what's going on?
I've done it, and you think, whoop.
Oops, daisy.
Well, you got to say, if you can't beat them, join them. And that's certainly been the strategy of Kmart Racing in 2001.
Look at that. Look at that crowd. Incredible.
TWR Australia operation, head and shoulders above the other teams in terms of their consistency of performance. Absolutely incredible. Now there's 4 of them on the track.
We're yet to get an official crowd figure, but we understand somewhere between 30 and 40,000.
It's a lot.
And they are all cheering their man on, Greg Murphy. Plenty of Holden support in the crowd as well.
Absolutely incredible scene there. Absolute capacity at Pukekohe Raceway. Kiwis love their V8 Supercar racing. They love it even more when one of their boys is winning. And Greg Murphy is really turning it on for the home crowd today. Perfect record still intact at Pukekohe. And Greg Murphy has not been beaten in a V8 Supercar on home soil.
So good for the sport, though, isn't it? I mean, when you get somebody whose country it is and they don't ever have any races there, it's so nice, isn't it?
Look at that. Incredible crowd. Let's check it out on the Shell Helix race score. Greg Murphy, the winner, just 0.7 of a second in it at the end over Mark Scaife. Marcus Ambrose, best of the Fords. Jason Bright, Tony Longhurst, excellent 5th spot. Steve Johnson, Garth Tander and Paul Radicic.
Ellery was able to remain in the top 10. Lowndes, an outstanding drive, making up 14 places. Paul Wheel just outside the top 10, another good result. Barguana slipped a couple. Forbes, strong run, so too Seaton. Jones and Larkham in the top 16. Perkins 17. Todd Kelly will be frustrated after that stop-go penalty. Faulkner led for a while but dropped after the compulsory pit stops, and Jason Richards from 4th to 23rd. Stephen Richards had a little bad luck, and McConville a tough run as well.
Well, you would not believe the eruption from the crowd here down on the main straight at Pukekohe. Greg Murphy, what a great run.
Whew, take a breath. It's awesome, absolutely awesome. I've sort of run out of new things to say because it really is. These crowd's fantastic. What a day! I'm just having the time of my life.
Now you had some dramas towards the end there too, didn't you?
Yeah, I actually tripped the speed limiter button down at the chicane down there, and the thing just stopped. It had no throttle and it got real loose, and I got it turned off, and off we went again. So Scaife got a bit close there for a minute, but it was a bit of a hard attack.
Good luck at making it a clean sweep.
It's the plan, and with these guys, hopefully we can.
Good on you.
Thanks a lot. Marcus Ambrose, you've never taken a race win. I thought this one might have been it.
Don't bring it up, please.
Talk us through the start.
Yeah, the start was okay. Got off the line, held spot. I have a lot of trouble starting this car for some reason. It's the first car I've never been able to get off the line, but I think over the Christmas break we'll work on that and try and sort it out for next year. But early on, pressed as hard as I could, but just couldn't quite match those 2 HRT cars.
We saw you launch at the warm-up. You were eager to get away.
Yeah, the red light went off on the start lights, and I thought, oh well, that's what they're using, because I normally only go when I see the other cars go. And I didn't quite know what was going on there, but I rectified it. So
I think you'll be getting a little bit more used to the front row a little bit shortly. But to the Ford itself, you said you were struggling with understeer. This seems to be a common problem with the Fords around here.
Yeah, we just haven't quite hit it there. That's all. I don't think there's anything difference between Holden and Ford, although the Holden guys have got their cars sorted out earlier than we have. And we're working on it. It's getting better all weekend, and no excuses. We've got to get the car better, and hopefully in race 3 we'll be able to press on and give them a real hard charge.
Times are equal to those in front of you. What about rubber?
Yeah, we burned a few up then. Really, the left front there was with the understeer, so we sort that out. We'll be right.
One to go, Marcus.
Yeah, one to go. Maybe I'll get a win today, eh?
Good luck.
Yeah.
Well, 4th place, and it was a pretty dramatic race 1, but race 2 you've done exceptionally well. Jason Bright, congratulations.
Yeah, mate, there's no more Ford stickers down the side, so yeah, we did it nice and clean, and the car's just fantastic this weekend. The guys did a fantastic pit stop, and the in-lap, out-lap was good, so we were able to get a few guys in the pits, but we also had to pass a few of those guys, and they won't give us any room either.
Mark took a bit of a gamble on pit strategy, or the team at least did. You seem to stick to the earlier plan?
I noticed that Mark was out long. I didn't know what was going on. I thought that they would have been in really early, and I didn't know sort of what happened. I didn't know whether they had a stop go or what, so we sort of planned on staying out long. We had a lot of positions to make up after starting 20th, and we wanted to get back in the top 10, so as we were still with a shot for second going into Sandown, and we managed to do that and we ended up 4th, so yeah, better than we could expect.
Balance on the car looks exceptional. There was one point there you overtook, I think, Stephen Johnson deep under brakes, and the car looked very comfortable.
The car's been great all weekend. We sort of lost a little bit in qualifying, and we're very disappointed to be 8th. We were quickest in practice, first time here, so we wanted to sort of get out there in that race and prove that we could race clean and had the pace, and I think we did that.
The left rear tyre looking all right?
Oh, it was struggling, but trying to pass cars works the left rear tyre harder than anything, and I'm not surprised that it's pretty tired, but it wasn't any more tired than what the first race was. So I think even though we were pushing it harder, we were still looking pretty good in hotter temperatures.
I think the 3rd and final race is going to be a bit of a battle, isn't it?
Should be. They've got three TWR cars up there, and hopefully we can crack it for a win for a Holden Racing team, and try and get a trophy back to Australia rather than leaving it here.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Greg.
Impressive stuff from Jason Bright, wasn't it, guys? 20th to 4th. That's no mean feat.
Remarkable performance. Claw his way back into the top 5. We've seen Bright do that all throughout the year, though. If he hasn't had a good qualifying, and he hasn't had very strong qualifying throughout this series, in his first year with Holden Racing Team, he always seems to manage to claw his way back toward the top end by the finish.
He had a rough old day yesterday. He got 5 forwards in one fell swoop.
Greg Murphy for the clean sweep, Mark, yes?
Oh, gee, you'd have to have your money on him, wouldn't you? But that was
really? Even I'd bet on him.
Neil, yes?
Depends on the pop of the clutch. In terms of car pace, no problem, but he has to have a good start to be able to do the job.
And that's all ahead of us today. Round 12 of the Shell Championship Series. Can Greg Murphy make it 3 from 3? We'll be back real soon. Championship Series is something new for Pukekohe, and so too is the V8 Challenge. As you can see, it's a classic Ford versus Holden confrontation, and today it was Mark Skaife versus Paul Radicic, and the contest involves the cars weaving between those witches hats in the quickest possible time before parking it in the VB garage without knocking over any of those VB cans, and the roar of the crowd indicates that Paul Radicic was victorious today. Someone else, another driver enjoying some success at Pukekohe, is Tony Longhurst, and Grant is with him right now.
Well, Tony Longhurst, needless to say, stunning Bathurst, but in that race, stunning again. 5th position, you really proved your worth in the last 2 races in what is essentially a privateer car.
Yeah, just amazing. We've had no sponsorship all year, and we've actually picked up charter trucks from the South Island here at Christchurch. And to have a 6th in the first race, a 5th in that race, I'm just over the moon.
I think yesterday it was really a matter of survival and just throwing caution to the wind in those conditions.
But look, everyone goes as hard as they can every race, and it's no different whether it's dry or wet. We made a good call yesterday. We got on the wets at the right time, and we're in that position. And today, I can't believe it. 5th in this. It's not the highest tech car, but a fantastic job from Rudd Nash and all the boys. They've given me a car now at the end of the year that's very competitive.
Tony, what's your aspirations? 1 race to go. Is there realistically a chance that you could get yourself and propel yourself into the top 10 in the championship this year?
It's quite amazing. Without a budget, we've really been running on the smell of an oily rag, and we're very close to getting in the top 10. So if we do, it'll be very nice to line up next year up with the gun teams.
Amazing job, Tony. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Grant.
An impressive run from Tony Longhurst, but he wasn't the only one. What about Bright? 20th to 4th, Radicic 16th to 8th, Lowndes made up 14, 24th to 10, and Seaton more than halved his position, 30th to 14th. The big loser, unfortunately, was Team Kiwis' Jason Richards. Let's take a look at the point standings for today, and Greg Murphy has a clear 30-point advantage over the newly crowned champion Mark Skaife, and Marcus Ambrose is well in contention to stand on the podium today if he can keep his strong run going, and Longhurst just outside the podium at the moment. Our 2 guys who have experienced a reasonably difficult weekend are the Shell Helix Ford drivers Stephen Johnson and Paul Radicic. Now, the Rat may have won the V8 Challenge, but he's not quite there in the races. They're hoping to turn that around. They're talking with Greg Rust.
It's been a bit of a tough weekend so far for the Dick Johnson Racing Team, and in race 2 it sort of was mixed success, I'd say. Paul Radicic, you fought your way up from 19th position to 8th. That's a good effort.
Yeah, it was. Excellent start. I managed to pick off probably 8 cars on the start line, and just a matter of trying to conserve the tyres and keep a good constant pace. But gee, we've been struggling this weekend just for grip. Just had lack of grip out of the slow corners, and it's really hampered our lap times. And of course the rain yesterday, we had a bit of a problem in the pit, and lost a lot of time. But see if we can make some changes for the following, keep the tyre wear up to some sort of scratch, so we can finish strongly and move up a few more spots.
That lack of grip was certainly an issue for your teammate, who looks none too impressed at all. Steve Johnson, tell us what's happening and show us the tyre.
Mate, I think it was about the 2nd lap after my pit stop. Fantastic pit stop, got out and was really travelling well, and there was some oil or something down at the hairpin, and ended up locking a left front, not a right front, and basically it's just flattened the whole one side of the tyre. And from then on, because it was the left front, the outside tyre through all the fast corners, it just wouldn't steer. It was vibrating really badly, and I was actually expecting it to burst, to be honest, so I was taking it a little bit careful under brakes and things just to make sure I made it to the end.
Was race 2 better for you compared to race 1 in terms of pit stops? I know you had a tough one yesterday.
Yeah, it sure was. I think it was a lightning stop. The guys did an excellent job. It was around about 9-second stop, so that really helped us. So it was just, really if you drop a few seconds in the pit stop, it's impossible to get it back. So looking forward to the third race. We're both starting to smile a little bit more. I know Stevie had the problem there, but you know, he'll be strong in the second race, and I think both DJ cars will move forward.
Have you been able to sort out, I know you were talking with the engineers there before, what the problem is, and can you, I guess, fix it for the final one?
Mate, we've been from one end of this car to the other, both cars, and we've been
fronts to rear. You know, you take mine, Steve, and I'll take yours. It's
unbelievable. We've been really, you know, we've changed the front end and the back end, soft, medium, hard, extra soft, you name it, we've done it, and it just hasn't been helping us at all. So we are struggling.
Best of luck in the final one, boys. We are just overawed by the immense Kiwi support here. Fantastic.
It's our pleasure to look after you guys, and what support, isn't it fantastic? I mean, I don't know what the numbers are, but you know, over the weekend there's probably been 70,000-80,000 people, and just you know, the Kiwis, they know how to put on the hospitality.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
We found out a little bit about Stephen Johnson there, but you can find out a whole lot more in the latest V8 magazine. An in-depth interview with Stephen and a profile, and shows how he's finally come out of the shadow of his successful father Dick and is now a hero in his own right. A whole lot more in V8X as well. The relationship between Paul Morris and Big Kev. Plenty more about Bathurst and upcoming events also. One thing that's difficult in TV is to bring you the atmosphere and the crowd support, etc. But Barry Sheen, this place has been something else.
Quite incredible. When you see how many people here, over the 3 days, there's been 86,000 people, and that's the biggest sporting gathering since the Commonwealth Games in 1990. And full credit to the organisers, they managed to get everybody in. There wasn't people stuck outside that couldn't get in because of the traffic or anything. I think they've handled it incredibly well, and it just shows how good our V8s are, doesn't it, really? I mean, everybody loves it.
And Dick Johnson, from a team manager's point of view and one of the heroes of this sport, how do you find coming to New Zealand? You were here in 96, but this is for real. How's it been for you?
Well, it's obviously a huge improvement over 96. You know, the traffic manager has been just fantastic. We had no trouble getting in here. The guys have had no trouble getting in, because that was always going to be our biggest fear, is being able to get in. But they've done a fantastic job of it, and they really need to be commended for it.
You glad that we've come?
Oh, absolutely. I've always wanted to come over here. I've been coming over here for years, and it's just fantastic crowds and good place to be.
And believe me, if he's not moaning, it must be good.
Now, if you'd like to have a good time, we've got one last V8 Superstars left. And if you'd like to be part of that studio audience after 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, call Sydney 9650-1518 and you can be a part of that very last V8 Superstars. Can Greg Murphy make it a hat-trick? 3 from 3. We'll find out on the other side of this break.